Me dice una cosa antes.
Okay, guys, good morning. Welcome to the first topic, the first day of topics in our third partial, January 10th, 2022. Remember to place the date at the very top on the right corner and leave an empty space so we can place the topic's name at the end of the class. So as you can see, we have several words that we're going to define. Basically today is more of definition since we already practiced with our mystery figure classwork how to graph. Because after that, we're going to graph away this third partial. Okay, so let's begin with the first definition, coordinate plane. We used that word a lot last week, Thursday, when I will give you the instructions that you have to graph every single point or every single order pair in the same coordinate plane. But let's have a more detailed definition of a coordinate plane. So what do you think is a coordinate plane? What comes to the top of your mind when you hear the words coordinate plane?
An intersection.
An intersection of what?
Of two numbers.
Intersection of two numbers of a line. Okay. That could be something like that. Very good. Someone else?
I remember the name, the game of Battleship.
Okay. Anyone else? So just like making a mix up of what Elisa said and what Carlos Luis said, and what I know that you have on the top of your head, it is not the intersection of two numbers, okay? It is the intersection, sorry about that. Of two number lines. Number lines, just like the ones that we used when we were graphing inequalities, okay? Two number lines. One horizontal and one vertical. That's the only difference. And in this case, we are going to have a vertical line, okay? So let's draw over here a coordinate plane. I'm going to draw it in blue. So a coordinate plane, it has to be a number line or vertical and a number line horizontal. Remember, right in the middle of those number lines, we got the number 0. So that means that this point over here that I'm going to graph to you right now in blue, over there, that point, that is the point 0. And it is the point 0 for both of the lines, okay? Now, remember, to the right, we have the positive numbers. We got here +1, +2, +3, +4, and etc. Over here, we got the positive numbers. And to the left, we got the negative numbers. -1, -2, -3, -4, and so on. Remember that the negatives, they go backwards, okay? Because 0 is right in the middle. That is for the ones that are in the horizontal. Now, how do we do the vertical? Basically, we have the number line like this, and we are going to shift it or move it counterclockwise. In other words, in the opposite direction that the clock goes. Okay, so counterclockwise, we're going to move it like that, meaning that the positives are now going to be up here because positives were at the right. If I move it counterclockwise, positives are at the top and the negatives are on the bottom. Okay, so they go the same thing. 1 positive, 2 positive, 3 positive, and so on up. And to the bottom, we got -1, -2, -3, -4, and so on downward. Okay. Now, why are we using a coordinate plane? Because look at this. I'm going to make it bigger. Okay. So I did it like that, just like a random way of dividing. Do you think that this space over here from 0 all to the way to +1 is exactly the same as the space that I have over here? Is it the same space? No, right? This one over here is bigger than this one over here. So that is why we're going to be using our grid paper notebook, okay? So this one for right now, we're gonna leave it like that. But for the examples that we're gonna be working, we are going to do it as it is, okay? As it is supposed to be done in our grid paper notebook. Okay, so that was the first definition. Let's go with the second definition, the x-axis. Okay, what is the
The
x-axis?
horizontal line.
I'm sorry?
It's the horizontal line.
Exactly, it is the horizontal line. We're gonna call it right now the horizontal number line. And the y-axis?
The vertical
Correct. The
number line.
vertical number line. So that means that we are going to say that this is x and this is y. So for right now, guys, we are using a 2-dimension plane, okay, a flat dimension plane. Probably some of you are going to see a 3-dimensional plane where we are going to have a new variable, which will be probably variable z, okay? But for right now, we're gonna leave it like that. Now, what are quadrants?
Are space between 4 coordinates.
Exactly. You're reading the book, right? But that's okay. It is the spaces or the divisions that the two axes have, okay? Are the spaces made from the division or intersection, okay? We're gonna place division or intersection of the axis, okay? And they go as well counterclockwise, okay? What does counterclockwise means? It means that they go on the opposite direction of the clock, okay? So we are gonna call this quadrant 1. Both positives is quadrant 1. This is Q and the one in the Roman numbers. This will be quadrant 2, Q and the Roman number 2. Quadrant 3, Q and the Roman number 3. And this is the quadrant 4. Q and the Roman number 4. Okay, so as you can see, quadrant 1 is all positive. It has the x-axis positive and the y-axis positive. Quadrant 2 is negative positive. You got the negatives on the x and the y's are positive. Quadrant 3 is all negative, negative, negative. You got the x negative and the y negative. And quadrant 4 is positive, negative, okay, because you got the positive x and the negative y. Now, before we continue with that and we place anything else any further on our coordinate plane over here, we are going to determine what is the origin, okay? So origin, in Spanish, it means origen. So if I tell you origin, origen, without reading the book, what comes to the top of your mind? What is the origin of something?
The center of the coordinate plane.
You said the coordinate, for example, 3, 2.
The
Yes, but
center of
what
the
I'm asking,
coordinate plane.
yes, but if I say randomly, The origin of humankind. Am I talking about
Is a
the
central
center of the
point
coordinate plane?
the
No,
zero?
I'm not talking about the coordinate plane. I'm talking about everything else. What is the origin of something?
The
start
rise
of
of something,
something.
the genesis, the
Where something begins, okay? Where something begins, el origen is where something begins, okay? So the origin of a
Well,
coordinate plane, yes.
I
like
suppose
most
there
of
are
you
the
say,
lines are the little lines that the 2 little lines that mark where we're going to like the table multiple tables a multiple table
Okay.
for example 3 times 4 you need to find the 4 and the 3 and all
Something like
and
that.
you need to
Yeah,
cross
but we
that.
haven't gotten to that part yet. We haven't gotten to that part yet. I'm talking about the origin. So the origin, like some of you said, is where the intersection of the two number lines occurs, right in the middle, right in the center. That is the origin. Why? Because that's the zero of both numbers line. 0 for the X, but also 0 for the Y, that exact point.
The zero
Okay,
for
so
the-
we're gonna say the origin is the exact point where the number lines of X and Y intersect. In other words, it is the
they are
center
crossed.
of the coordinate plane okay, that's it. Mm. Mm. Okay, of the coordinate plane. Now, order pairs what Carlos Luis was talking, what Carlos Luis is telling us, or giving us an example, is the one that gives the coordinates and location of a point. It will always, okay, always be in between the parentheses, the X, comma, the Y. Always X goes first and then goes the Y, always. But what is the X coordinate? Well, it shows the position right, to the right or the left of the y-axis. Oh, it will be either to the right of the y-axis or to the left, okay? But we're talking about the coordinate of the x-axis, okay? And the y coordinate, okay, the y coordinate, it shows the position above or below, up or down, the x-axis. Okay, so going back to what I was saying. So this is, since it is positive x, so it's going to be positive and positive. Quadrant 1. Quadrant 2, because the x goes first, this is negative and positive, because it's positive y. This is both negative, so negative, negative. And this is positive, negative.
Miss, why you don't do if when you do that, why you don't do the thing that do math science books that they put a arrow from the definition to the place that means in the table?
Because it doesn't matter, you already need to know that. And if you need it, then you have the book. okay? So now we're going to graph some points just to remember what we were doing Thursday, okay, or Friday, whenever we had the classwork. So the coordinate plane that you guys are going to be working always is going to be right on top of your grade paper notebook. And it has to be right on top of the line of the grid paper, okay, always. And always you need to draw arrows in both ends because they're number lines, okay? So it has to be right on top of the line. What does that mean? It means that I don't want you guys to be drawing lines. For example, there, it cannot be there because that's not on top of the line. So it cannot be over there. It has to be on top of the line of your grid paper. Now, every single square is a unit. So this is 1, this is the Y, and this is the X-axis, okay? So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and etc. going upwards. I do not want to see this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. I don't want lines in between. Okay, I want the lines right where the square finishes, okay? For every single coordinate that you're going to draw for now on. That's why you need to have a ruler, okay? So that way, you cannot have it this way. You cannot have it that way, okay? Are we clear with that? Yes? Okay, just give me a second. You can
We need to have,
graphing that.
Miss, we need to have 10 squares each
No.
line.
No, it will depend on what we're graphing and how much we need. Not necessarily 10 in every side, okay? It depends on what we are graphing. But what if we have a number like 11? So we would need a little bit more than 10. Okay, so I'm going to draw my lines in my coordinate plane, as you can see.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Do we have to upload this to school?
No, we're just writing this in
Okay.
our notebook. Okay, so that's our coordinate plane, right? If I say for you, for example, graph the origin, where are you going to graph the origin?
In the center.
Right in the center, correct. So this is not necessary for you to write all the numbers, okay? It's not necessary. You can write, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and etc. Or you can go and say -2, -3, -4. You can just number them like skipped, or you can number them, all of them if you want, or you can number just the first one and then start working as you go, okay? So the origin, it is right in the center, okay? Just like, I don't know who said it. This is the origin. Carlos Luis wanted me to do this. So that's the origin. The origin is 0 for the X, 0 for the Y. What point would this be? What point is that?
That's the number 0.
0, 4.
0,
Ah,
4,
0, 4.
correct. 0 for the X.
Okay, I don't see the ones that check it.
You don't see what, Carlos Luis?
That I see, I don't see the verifying the when you share screen. I will turn off the camera.
Okay. So now we got that one in blue. What number is that? What order pair
Zero,
is that?
negative
-7.
I'm sorry?
-7.
0, negative 6.
Negative
No,
6.
it is not 0, negative 6.
It's 0, negative 7.
No. Remember, we always graph first the x, and then we graph the y. So the same way, first look the coordinate x, and then look for the coordinate y. So what coordinate on the x is this?
It's negative 6, 0.
Negative 6, comma 0, correct. Okay, negative 6, comma 0. Because it's negative 6 on the x, but it's not moving anywhere on the y. That's why it says the y coordinate is above or below. Above or below. Up from the x-axis or down from the x-axis. It didn't move up or down. It stayed on the x-axis. That's why it is negative 6, comma 0. And this is 0, comma 4, because it didn't go either left or right, but it did go up 4 units, okay? So that's it. Let's do another one. Let's say, for example, that point. What coordinate, what order pair is that?
-4 and
No,
-4, I don't know.
no. Hmm?
Mm,
Negative
negative
Negative?
7. No, negative. I don't see well. 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 4, comma, negative 3.
Are you sure that that's it?
It's negative 3. Negative 3.
Negative 3 and negative 3?
-4, negative
No,
4.
negative 3 and negative 4.
Oh,
Negative 3 and negative 4, correct. Now we got it. Okay, it's negative 3 and negative 4 because first you go and look the x. So the x goes over here and I didn't place a number. So that's negative 3. It goes all the way down. And then you look for the y and you go this way. And the y is negative 4. So it is negative 3, comma, negative 4. Are we clear now on how we need to graph? Yes? You have any question about this? Okay, let's do one more. If I say, for example, that I want you to graph, I'm gonna write it over here. Graph the order pair -4, -5 and tell in what quadrant it is. What would be your answer? Where am I going to graph it?
In the 4th quadrant.
In the 4th quadrant, meaning this one, right? This is the 4th quadrant. Why in the 4th quadrant? Because it's positive and negative. So is it 4 on the y or 4 on the x?
4 in the x.
4 in the x. So it means that I'm needed to find it over here, right? In the vertical one. Should I look for that point on the vertical line?
Yeah.
Yes, on the vertical? The vertical
No,
is
it's the
the y.
horizontal. In the
The horizontal. So I'm going to say, okay, 4 over here. This is 4. And since it is to the 4th quadrant, I'm going to say a dashed line. I can do a dashed if I want, or if I don't want to, just use my my finger. And it goes all the way to where? To the 5, to the -5, right? -5 is over here. So it goes this way. So right there in that point where they intersect, that's going to be this point. So like Maria Fernanda said, this is 4 comma -5, and it is on the 4th quadrant. And basically, that's what we were going to see today. What's today's topic? What's today's topic?
The coordinate plane.
The coordinate plane, correct. The coordinate plane. So this is the first topic for the third partial. Is there any question? Okay, then